YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. After the Cowboys Saints Thursday night football game, I'm here to give you my takeaways. Game got pretty exciting, I suppose, in the end for the most part. Mostly defense here. We're going to break it down like we do for every Thursday night game. We do the same thing for all the Sunday games. On Monday, we have full NFL content here with weekly picks, power rankings, and much more. So join us for that. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on, follow our Twitter. Link down below for that. Live updates there. Fantasy Q&A as well. All kinds of things going on. But Cowboys pulled off 27-17. They scored 27 points against a pretty solid defense, but he still got some, I guess, worries about the Cowboys offense, maybe how it's being called. You know, there's a big problem with, in there missing Mike McCarthy, obviously, but Kellen Moore obviously calls the plays there, runs that offense. But there was problems with him last year, even though the team was depleted on the offensive side of things. And then this year, to start the year, it was like, wow, you know, this is great. He's going to get a head coaching job. He's such a good play caller. And now it's kind of going downhill again. I mean, if you look at these 3-and-out drives, actually, if you look at every drive, how it starts is usually a run. It's usually a first down run. Everyone's calling for them to run the ball more, which they definitely need to do. But a lot of times it's a first down run, pass, probably punt then. If there isn't a run on first down, it's going to be on second. So and that's really the only run. That's kind of the problem. They're going to run the ball, but it's going to be on first, second. It becomes predictable. So that's kind of a big problem here. Maybe they, it's a possibility they know they can win either way. Like, we have the ability to win in the passing game or the running game. We really don't need both, which we want for that big game, you know, that playoff game or that division clinching game or the Super Bowl maybe, you know. So maybe that could be it. I guess for the Cowboys fans' sake, I guess that's what we'd be hoping for. You know, that, try to win this game passing. Let's not have too much of allow other teams to have kind of a game plan, for us because we're equally a run and pass. We're not a pass first team, even though they're feeling like that right now. So maybe that's what it is. You know, maybe they're trying to throw some teams off. They know they're going to win the game like this against the Saints with their defense and just throwing the ball. And they do trust them to play a little better, execute a little better, on third downs, in the passing game. But it does look like it's not as strong as it was earlier in the year. Pass defense was, I guess I'm a little hesitant on that one. Pass defense was great in the second half. It was great, especially in the fourth quarter. They made plays. First half, there was, the Saints weren't throwing all over them or anything like that, but they were hitting some throws underneath, and that was kind of a problem. Last week they were worried about the deep ball from the Raiders, and they were playing so far off, but they were still getting beat by the deep. The Saints kind of get things going early underneath, especially in the running game. So that was kind of a problem, just the ability to stop Taysom Hill. You're going to have to deal with Jalen Hurts and company, and you can't really base things off the first time around. In that rushing attack, again, that could be a pretty big game for the Cowboys. So they're going to have to clean that up. But the pass defense overall is very solid, and that includes, not just the coverage, but the pass rush. Micah Parsons kind of getting DeMarcus Lawrence going, Carlos Watkins. That was a ridiculous play, how he caught that ball, just snatched it out of the air, returned it for a touchdown. So that was huge, wild play. Receivers were good. CeeDee Lamb had a pretty good game. Michael Gallup didn't do a whole lot, but that touchdown grab was very good. Cooper, got some action for missing 2 games. That's pretty good. And Schultz was getting open, some good routes, good footwork for a tight end. So I thought he was doing a good job in crucial situation, especially at the end of the first half. Pollard, explosive every week. He's just not getting enough carries. The run game was great. They just didn't get enough carries. Again, Pollard was great. Had that big touchdown run. Were they about to? That was the same thing. And they got a first down on that drive, and then they were going back to the run on first down. They're going to go back and do their same things. And if it wasn't for Pollard just breaking one off, Cowboys, would they have gone 6-and-out or whatever it was? So that was a big time run there. We talked about the play calling, not so great, but maybe. Maybe they know they can win with their passing game, running game. They don't want to be too balanced because they don't want to show everything away. It's a possibility. I'm not saying that's how it is, but we talked about the run defense. Could be a little better. Just the biggest play was that Pollard touchdown. If they didn't get that going, this game could have went a lot differently. I don't know how he got that open in the first place, and it was kind of a one-on-one with Marcus Williams, who took a very interesting angle, and he did that earlier in the game as well. So I'm not sure what Marcus Williams was doing, especially on that play. It's a very bad moment there because sometimes you'll catch safeties doing that when it's kind of a one-on-one in space, but it's usually when they have the ultimate space. They're in the middle of the field where, you're kind of turning, your momentum's going this way, and the runner could go right or left because there's equal space, and they're trying to angle their body to push that ball carrier out to a certain sideline. Tony Pollard was already along the sideline. Marcus Williams got to go attack and push him out of bounds. I don't even like when safeties do that much in the open field. So that was a bad, and then he let him score on top of it, kind of pushed him in. So that was he had a rough game. He definitely had a rough game. So I kind of question that. It's one of those things where I don't want to see that once from a guy. I don't want to see that once. Taysom Hill was fantastic on the ground. That hurdle was ridiculous. You see him in the running game. Stuff we knew. Not so much in the passing game. He was throwing with a busted finger, though. Similar situation to Russell Wilson. It sounds like he may miss time. So do we go back to Simeon? Are they going to get Ian Book a shot? That's what I'm kind of waiting to see. But it was kind of a rough day for Hill in general. But he was fantastic on the ground. Deontay Harris, you see him at the end of the game. People will say, it doesn't really matter. It's garbage time. I'm not a big fan of the term garbage time, but you see how electrifying he is, how dangerous he is after the catch, and the Saints don't have much going for them. They, no matter who's that quarterback, they don't got much going downfield. And the receivers kind of let them down sometimes. Not a lot of separation, not the best hands. The quarterback's been letting them down. So just get the ball to Deontay Harris more, because it's something. It's something that you can feed off of. You can get a big play, a home run play like we saw off a guy like that. I thought their coverage was pretty good. It's when they were giving up catches, the Gallup touchdown, just a ridiculous play. I thought their coverage was really good. They forced an interception on Dak Prescott, and then CeeDee Lamb was coming from the slot, and Demario Davis actually picked him up. And Demario Davis's job was to read run. If there's no run, to drop in coverage in the middle of the field and pick somebody up. And he did a fantastic job realizing that CeeDee Lamb was coming across the middle of the field, and he picked him up, but then let him go at the perfect time. And what happened there, Dak thought Demario Davis was man on CeeDee Lamb. And Demario Davis is a fantastic coverage linebacker. But, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, you definitely have confidence downfield with a little more speed than Demario Davis. It might be somewhat of a mismatch. So he takes the shot, but then he didn't realize that it was actually zone coverage, and then Demario Davis let him go, and then Marshawn Lattimore stepped up, made a good play there. So that was a really good play by Demario Davis, probably go unnoticed maybe a little bit there. Just not enough of passing. It's just not enough from the Saints. It's kind of what it's been the last few weeks. I would say the officiating wasn't helping them out at all in this game. There was some pretty brutal calls, the block in the back. I've never seen a block and back call on kind of just a rush there. There just wasn't. The officials sure didn't help the Saints out. You see Sean Payton getting really frustrated, and then you kind of see him as it went on. You kind of see his facial, his face, as it was going on. At the end, it was kind of like almost like funny to him. It was kind of, this is just ridiculous. It's kind of that. I will say though, there was an interesting play in when Taysom Hill. They originally called it a fumble. I think it was off DeMarcus Lawrence's hand. That was an interesting one to me because his hand was going forward, but he didn't actually throw the ball. I thought maybe he threw it off of DeMarcus Lawrence's hand, and that's why it was going to be incomplete. But actually, DeMarcus Lawrence still knocked it out of his hand. He was in a throwing motion. His hand was coming forward, but he didn't actually throw the ball. So I don't know what the rule is on that. If his hand's coming forward, the hand's coming forward. That's it. The end of the story. It's weird that we've never seen a play like that. We rarely see a play like that. It's usually it came out. His hand was going forward and the ball was being thrown, so it's incomplete, or his hand wasn't coming forward and it gets knocked out. You never get a mixture of both. The hand's coming forward, but he didn't throw the ball yet. It got knocked out. So maybe that's just what the rule is these days, is that we just haven't known because we haven't seen that specific scenario, that if the hand's coming forward, it really doesn't matter. If I made the rule book, I think that should be a fumble because he knocked it out of his hand. So that was one thing that, maybe that should have been the Cowboys' ball, and then the officials messed that up. Maybe, again, it could be just firm. The hand was going forward, and that's the end of it. Whether we agree with that being the rule or not, that might just be it. I just haven't seen that. Again, I've seen it where the hand's coming forward, and he's letting go of the ball. That wasn't the case here. But that could be the only thing that really went against the Cowboys there. Everything else, yeah, the Saints had to overcome a questionable passing game. Not the best receiver group. Kamara, Ramczyk, Armstead all out. And then the officials weren't helping him out, either there. I think once we got to that block in the back call, and then there was one where a couple missed pass interferences maybe. There was some I agreed with not being thrown, and there was some I did not. But, yeah, so they didn't really get any help there. So it's been a tough losing streak for the Saints. Cowboys needed a win there because they've been losing a bit out of their last 4 games. Was the last 3 out of 4, so they definitely needed a win. For a minute there, I was like, they could lose this game. What's happening here? So, but they better figure it out because they got to play the Eagles one more time, and they got to play Washington football team twice actually still, and both those teams are sort of heating up while the Cowboys are getting a little colder. But I'm curious to see if they're kind of saving some things in terms of the play calling and the game plan, because once you get to the playoffs, it is all about the game plan. When teams correctly game plan for another team based on what they did all year and they're trying to repeat that, the game plan will win. The new game plan will win. So that maybe, just maybe, that could be it. But I don't know. It's just, you figured at one point they would they would have liked to beat the Raiders last week. They would like to go put the Saints away in this game. I think it is, though, more of they trust themselves to win in the passing or running game. They don't really need both. They want to save both for the right times. But I would like for Tony Pollard to get the ball more, really, at the end of the day, whether they're doing this on purpose or not. They need to get him the ball more. They were missing their coach, but Dan Quinn filled in. The defense had a hell of a game at the end of the day. Early on, they did. The Saints were moving the ball a little bit more than I thought they would early in that game, especially missing Kamara on the star tackle. So we'll see. It was a much-needed win for the Cowboys. The Saints were trying to get a much-needed win. They're actually still in the playoff hunt, though, and that's why it would have been big. But we'll see what these teams can do next week. But that's going to be it for my takeaways this week. Follow us on Twitter. We're constantly talking throughout these live games. We have live updates on there, always keeping you guys involved. Subscribe to the channel, like, and turn notifications on because we have full NFL coverage here, talking college football as well. It's going to do it, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.